Joining us now is photographer Monica Mazzotto, whose latest photo exhibit is called Visions of Detroit. Monica, thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Appreciate having you on. So first, tell us about your background and how you came to grow a passion for photography and then turn that into a career.
So yes, since I was a child, I was also so in love with animals. So I really was intrigued by their behavior, and I studied this kind of topic for all the first part of my life. So I became an ethologist, and I obtained a PhD on animal behavior because that was what interested most. At the same time, I was always interested also by photography because it's a kind of expression that was perfect for me. And I think that ethology and photography have many points in common. The most important is that when you observe an animal and you try to understand their behavior, you train your brain to see some particular that maybe other people didn't notice. So photography is also that. Photography for me is look the world that surround you with an open vision, just be ready to be amazed by that. And so, as you see, I can say that I always been an ethologist, and at the same time, I'm always be a photographer.
And so, tell us about your journey too, from initially living in Italy and eventually ending up in Detroit. How did you end up in Detroit, and ultimately what has made Detroit home for you?
Yes, so we as a family travel a lot. So the first time that we've been in Michigan was in 2003, and we stayed there in a suburb of Detroit for a couple of years. Then we moved back to Italy, and then we come back again to the United States, again in a suburb of Detroit. All this time was for my husband's work, and I was very happy to join this kind of living because I love to move, I love to change place where I live because it's a chance to know new people, new culture, different place, and different news. So I was very happy. I was lucky because I was doing a work. I was a scientific and a journalist, so I worked for a newspaper and magazine. And I was able to continue my work also if I was moving all around the world. And then we moved back to Europe. We lived a couple of years in Paris. And then now we come back again for the third time in the United States, but now in Chicago. So I enjoyed so much the 4 years that I lived near Detroit because it was an amazing experience. Really enjoying a lot.
We're joined by Monica Mazzotto, photographer, joining us on the MegaCast. Her current exhibit is Visions of Detroit, which is exploring the city of Detroit and what makes its identity unique. Every city, especially these major cities, tend to have their own personality in the architecture and the people and the behavior of the community and the way that everything sort of intertwines. And with your interest in nature previously, that led to your passion for photography being so, what about the city of Detroit interested you in creating an entire exhibit of photography about the identity of the city and how the city works through a visual medium?
Yeah, sure. So for me, Detroit was always very an amazing city because I love the passion that Detroit has and the proudness and despite all the problems that the city has, it's a city that always stand up and go on. And I love this kind of vitality. When vision of Detroit, it's a particular vision that I have of Detroit because it's about an abandoned place that Detroit was. Now a little bit less, but was in like 2014, 2015, was very rich about this place. So Vision of Detroit is a project that was born from all these pictures that I take in this place, abandoned place, all around Detroit. This place amazed me because it was really love at first sight when I start looking at that because I dislike the the perfection. I prefer to find beauty in an unconventional way. So not the typical things that everybody likes. So I prefer these things that are more strange or not so common. So I found this place really beautiful. The problem was that when I come back, I found that looking back to my photo, there was a little bit of absence of vitality because, as I told you, I feel that Detroit is it's a powerful city, so it has a lot of energy, positive energy, also in those places. But when I come back and look at that photo, I didn't find this energy, this vitality. That's why I thought, since I am an ethologist, since I love animals, and since I look at the animal very peaceful for me, just to add this animal. And that's why the Vision of Detroit, the project was born.
And so among the animals that you did add into these photos of these abandoned buildings in Detroit, in your Visions of Detroit exhibit, included lions, penguins, flamingos, and other animals as well. And a lot of those animals that I listed there and that are in these photos are animals that have either a lot of personality, a lot of color, a lot of energy to them, and either just the composition of their natural bodies as those particular animals, or in the way that they behave. What ultimately went into the choices of these specific animals in these specific places? Were they placed for symbolic reasons? Was it an aesthetic reason? A combination of both?
Really good question. Yes, both. So since I know the animal behavior, so I know every animal how they are, I just feel that some species was just perfect for that environment. Let's say the artwork that is called The Party, where a lot of the flamingos are in a factory. That's because I know that they love to hang with a group. They are social animals, so they will be very happy to have a party inside a factory. In some other case, they are symbolic, like Torino. It's another artwork where is a bull inside church. This bull, it represents a city where I live in Italy that is called in this way, Torino, because in Italy, the name of the bull is a toro. So that's why I call this artwork in this way, and that's why I put this animal in that environment. So in some cases are symbolic, in some case it's just because I feel that animal will perfectly fit in this environment.
We're joined by Monica Mazzotto, a photographer whose latest exhibit is Visions of Detroit. You can learn more by visiting her Instagram at MoMazPhoto, M-O-M-A-Z Photo on Instagram, M-O-M-A-Z Photo, to view the photography from her artwork down in the city of Detroit, and includes adding these animals into these visuals of abandoned buildings and other locations in the city of Detroit, and telling a story through the visuals of these different places, but also through animals in this photography project. Really interesting stuff. Highly encourage you to go to Instagram at MoMazPhoto, M-O-M-A-Z Photo, to learn more information and view this photography from Monica Mazzotto, who's joining us on the Michigan Megacast. And so art is interpretive, especially photography being that it's a visual medium. It's so visceral, it tells its story, but it also conveys meaning intentionally and unintentionally. So for you, as the artist in this scenario with Visions of Detroit, what do you hope that those that are viewing these photos take away? What sort of lessons, what sort of stories do you hope that they take as being conveyed through your art?
Thank you. Yes. I hope that people that look at my artwork could be reached by mainly two messages, two reflection. The first one is about beauty. As I told you before, I think that beauty can be seen everywhere. You can find beauty in any place. If you change your perspective, you can find also a ruin really beautiful. And that is the first message about the picture, about the photo of those places. The second message is more an ecological message, because when you see my photo, you can see animals live in place where humans just go away. They're not anymore there. The human has left the scene, we can say. So, and this animal seems to live very well. So the message is that we I mean, all the other species, species can live without human, maybe even better. But on the contrary, we cannot live without all the other species. So we should take care of the environment and of all the other species in a way that is much better than we are doing now. This is the same message.
And so, Monica, I often find, too, in speaking with artists and in creating art, that you, as an artist, learn something, too, as you're creating these projects. Even occasionally, you learn something that you never imagined you would in putting these pieces together. So for you, as you explored the city of Detroit, a city that you lived in for several years, as you put together this project, as you edited these photos and inserted these animals, what did you learn along the way?
So along the way, the first thing that really amazed me, that the first time that I went in this place, I would never imagine, because we didn't really have a lot of this kind of place in Italy. There are, of course, some villas that are left with no humans, but not really near the center of the city. So the first time that I went there, I discovered a new world. And I never imagined that I could be amazed by ruin. Really, it's not something that I thought about, because we grow up with a kind of vision of beauty, aesthetical vision of perfection, of kind of an artistic view of beauty. And in Italy, the culture of art is very strong. So you're used to think that beauty is something that is perfect. And I discovered that for me was really the opposite. The vitality and the energy that I felt in this place was really big. So this was the first discovery. And then that you need to leave your heart and your eyes just open. That was the thing that I do all my life since I was studying the animal, the behavior of the animal, because you need to be open to be amazed whatever you find. So in the kind of place when I start putting my animals inside the photo, I never imagined that I would like it. It was just like a game. So just putting a penguin, a shy penguin that is walking through the school looking for the lockers was kind of a game. And then I find it was amazing. It was funny and I like it. So the second lesson that I learned, that just be open to what arrives to you.
Monica, before we let you go, anything else at this time that would be important for our audience or interesting for our audience to know about Visions of Detroit, or other things that you're working on that we should be keeping an eye out for?
So thank you. Yes, I am programmed to have a Vision of Detroit Expo here in Chicago at the end of May, and one in November in Italy. And I'm very happy to bring a little piece of Detroit with me all around the world. So I'm very happy to show also Detroit and speak about Detroit all around the world. It's a kind that I like it.
Monica, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.